Well, as you can see, it's still not very better, is it? I was out in the rain yesterday or last night. I spent the day in the van, and I'm still at Talacre Lighthouse, so I'm hoping that I'm going to get out there this morning and get a bit of a sunrise. Now, there's a bit of breaks in the clouds. I've checked all the apps. I've had the photo ephemeris out, knowing that the sun's going to rise over this way, and I've had the clear outside, which is going to give me the weather report, and it's saying there's some high cloud and not a lot of low cloud, and only a sort of, I don't know, I can't remember what it was now, but there was only a small percentage of cloud, so there shouldn't be that much. I can see a few stars outside. It's quite early still, it's still dark, so it gives me an hour to walk over to the beach, even though it's only sort of 10-minute walk from here. So yeah, I've checked all the apps, checked the tide times. Tide times was high tide a little while ago, so the tide's actually going out at the moment. I think low tide's somewhere about 9:30, something like that. Yeah, high tide was 2 o'clock this morning, so the tide's going out, so there might not be a lot of water around the lighthouse, but the plan is to get out this morning and try and get a photograph of the sunrise and Talacre Lighthouse. If you didn't see last week's, then I got an epic, well, it wasn't a sunset, but it was very close to being sunset. Absolutely epic shot, really pleased. So yeah, check that one out, link's going to go up there for you. And yeah, let's see you somewhere outside once I've defogged you and got all the rest of my gear on. I've got my waterproof leggings on already because I have heard a few spits of rain on the roof, which isn't ideal. And I've got my coffee to drink, and I've got some mess in here to tidy up, obviously from last night. So yeah, I'm going to defog you and I'll see you outside. See you in a bit. I am here, hello. Absolutely perfect. As soon as I've got all my water gear on, I've stepped outside the van, it started raining again, and I still haven't managed to defog you, so this is going to be an interesting video this morning, isn't it? I will try and defog you as I get going, but at the moment it's a bit warmer in the van than it is outside, so everything's going a bit funny. I'm just going to stand in the doorway for a minute and see if I can let this little bit of a shower run over first. God, why does this rain just bugger off? Right, so I'm on the beach, and I literally am just a few minutes away, or a few seconds away. Look, the van's only just over there in the car park, so this is quite an easy beach to get to. It really is. The decision now is which direction to go in. The sun's going to rise over that way, as you can see the glow in the bottom of the sky, and there are some little gaps in the bottom there, so if the sun comes through that, you all know what's going to happen. That means it's going to light this, but it'll only be for a brief few seconds. So do I go off onto the dunes a little bit and then maybe shoot a bigger, wider scape, or do it frighten me then? I just heard the the clinking of the cables on the post, on the mast. Yeah, or do I stand around this side and try and get a little bit of glow on the lighthouse? That's the dilemma I'm at the moment, because it's quite thick cloud, so I'm not guaranteed a lot of anything. The only thing I am guaranteed of doing is probably getting wet this morning. A little bit of advice, a little bit of tip. Again, I've seen this and I've heard this from Mr. Nick Page, I think it was. Extend the bottom of your tripod leg, your single leg that hasn't got any screw threads to it, because if you get these screw threads full of sand, it's not very good, whereas sand on the end really doesn't make that much difference. You can get the sand off and give them a good wash, but yeah, just extend it long enough so when you plonk it down in the sand, you're not getting sand all in your screwy bits, because it's not very good for your tripod and it takes a lot of cleaning. Right, let's have a head along the beach. Good thing with this though, the tide's been in and the tide's gone out, which means there's no footprints in the sand at the moment, so if I get light before people decide to get up, you might be alright. But I just don't know which direction to go in, to be honest. I really don't. Give me strap a bit of a tug, tighten top of my bag up, that's better. Right, let's have a walk along the beach. I can see a light down there, so someone's obviously walking along the beach already. Early morning people. Let's see if I can get up on the dunes. See if I can get up on the dunes and get a bit of a longer shot. That'll do. Yeah, let's do that. So the plan is to get up onto the top of that one there. Just making my way now through these long grasses, and I'm out of breath of course, but I want to get to that top of that little bit there. Right, as you can see, I'm up on the top. So, what's the plan? There's the lighthouse down there, and I'm out of breath. It's quite steep, this last bit, and the light looks like it's coming out over there. So, let's get a composition set up with some sort of leading in the foreground. So it's always a good idea to get your camera out and have a look at the scene through the camera. So I'm using my vlogging camera, but it's a similar way of looking at it, and I can zoom in a little bit just to give me an idea of what my camera might look like. So at the moment I'm looking at these grasses, because you've got these nice pale browns, creams and tan colours, and I might be able to get a bit of movement in them if I let them shimmer in the wind a little bit. There's Talacre, and the light's going to come up some around, well, probably there. So it's going to come across this way and light the side of the lighthouse and the beach eventually. So I'm not sure whether I like this line. I suppose something like this might be nice, because you've got this nice leading line from the bottom corner taking you through the image up to the sky, and you've got some textures and colours on the beach. But maybe from just slightly further up, and the rain's coming in again, it's only a shower I think, maybe slightly further up I've got a little bit more going on just here. And this is almost like, if I come up a bit higher, this is almost like a pathway then that takes you through the image. So I might be able to use this, go slightly wider, like that. Still got these nice textures down here on the grasses, and then there's almost a line that takes you through, and a diagonal takes you right through to the lighthouse anyway. So I think this is going to be the composition, with slightly higher stance from something like that, and I quite like that. So the last time I was on the camera, I have my ISO to 160. So one thing you should really remember to do is always check your settings, because I've done this before where I've not lowered my settings back down and put them back to where they were before. And I've taken the images, even last night when I was fluffing around, I was taking images at f4, 4.6, and I'm not sure whether they're going to be any good. I haven't been home to look at the computer. But there's my leading line, as you can see. Got my rule of thirds on, so I'm coming across the rule of thirds, roughly where the lighthouse is, on the top thirds, on the right hand side there. That's where my lighthouse is. And I've got this lovely leading line from this bottom corner, bottom left hand corner, that's taking you right the way through the image. So all I need is a little bit of sky just to catch a bit of light, but there's not a lot of light going to go on. And just got these nice reeds in the bottom corner. Now I can go a little bit wider and pick a little bit more up, but I just thought I'd just zoom in a little bit more just to give a little bit more compression on that, and on the compression on the lighthouse and try and just bring it in a little bit closer. I'll probably take both. I'll probably go slightly wider and then closer one. I've also got the camera level. I can strike down on mine and give me an actual proper level, which gives me a right accurate level. But I've got the electronic level set up, and I'm focused on this little spot just there. And I've got back button focusing on mine, so I just press the back button focusing. It goes green, and then I know that whenever I hit the shutter button, it's not going to make any difference whatsoever. So if I take this shot now at the moment, that should give me a nice one with all these nice blue textures. And the shutter speed is 1.3 seconds, and that's because I will use aperture priority 99% of the time. So the light's going to come up somewhere over there, hopefully, if it's going to come out at all over there. So it should come across and just hopefully light all this up, but we will see what happens. Again, which is typical in it, so I've just put the cover over the camera just for now. What it does is it just keeps the rain off the lens, and it saves a little bit of moisture on it. Now I know the Fuji's going to take a little bit of rain and moisture, and I was on a workshop a couple of weeks ago, and the guy, Owen, he's got a Fuji, he's just gone to an XT4, and he came to me so he could help me, I could help him set up the camera a little bit. And he got it absolutely drenched, so they will take a little bit of water, they really will, but by getting water in it, you noticed this morning that you were really fogged up. Because I got water on the camera, it just causes condensation. So by keeping it dry as I can, it will help that condensation and saves me having to try and defog it and demist it. There's some nice rain shower going on over there, wow. Can you see that there? That is plunging down, that is. And it keeps spitting on me now, which is why I put my hood up. I actually quite like that. I might face it the other way and take a shot of that, because I do like that big plunge of rain coming down. That looks pretty awesome. It does look good. There is a little tiny bit of colour over there. I think I've got about, how long have I got? Let me just have a look at my watch. I've got 10 minutes, sorry. I've got 10 minutes before the sun actually is supposed to break the horizon, but that does look cool back there, so I might just flip the camera around and just take a shot of that. I do like that. I do love storms. I really, really love storms and the atmosphere and what they look like on camera, but by God, it's difficult to shoot them. Yeah, let's spin the camera around, let's get a shot of that. And then I can always flick it back round to this one. So you can see I've got the camera spun round now and it's facing the other direction, and it's quite dark light on there. So let me see if I can darken that down for you. There you can see that big storm up in the top there, and I've still got this lovely leading line and the beach leading through. But I've taken a few, and I've been taking them before I switched the camera on. I also zoomed in a little bit more as well. I just slacken my camera off slightly. And I zoomed in, so I've got a bit more of the beach like that, and I zoomed in even more, just I've got a bit more of the storm. But each time I was trying to set my horizon, so my horizon line is somewhere near the top or the bottom. I don't particularly like it bang in the middle like so. It doesn't take a good photograph in the middle. I mean, I suppose you can take one and break the rules. Let's just take one anyway, shall we? I'm going to focus on those lines. The lines in the beach are pretty good, and the rain's starting to come in again now. And I've just darkened the image down, didn't I? So let me just lighten it back up again to make sure I've got everything in there. There we go. So I've taken a few of that storm over there, because that storm just looks really, really cool. And the textures and the lines in the beach are brilliant. I'm going to have to flick my camera around there because the rain's coming in from this direction. So spin my camera back round and facing the other direction again, and we're back on the lighthouse. And I don't think a lot's going to happen, in all fairness. If you want to know how I do that, is I've got a tensioner on the side of my tripod, and I keep the tensioner quite tight so that all I've got to do is slacken this off and my camera doesn't fall over, and then I just nip it up when I need it into position, so I can actually slacken it off and move it around just one-handed, which is quite nicely. And there are some people down on the beach now, which might add to it. Let's just hit the shutter and go for it. There's some little people just on the side there, so that might be worth a picture. But yeah, the colours happening just in that little patch there, and I just don't think there's enough of a gap for it to get through. But we're going to stop here for another 15-20 minutes anyway, just to see if it does make its way through. And while I'm doing that, I'm just watching these clouds all around there. I've just taken a shot that way, trying to get that bit of a storm in, and then some windmills either side of it, and it'll probably end up a square crop, sort of like that. But just watching the storm come across, look at that over there. Coming across, it just looks amazing. I think when it gets into the middle, it'll make a nice square, get a bit of texture in the sky and a little bit of colour in the sand. So I'll watch that one come across as well, as long as this one there doesn't come this way and get me, because I will be drenched. Right, I'm just going to keep waiting for a moment. So I am back in that situation again where I'm running around, moving you around and moving myself around, because as I didn't expect, there's a rainbow behind me. I've been shooting the storm, I've had you on a time lapse, I've watched the sun coming up, I've shot a few images towards the sun, but it's nothing particularly special. Yeah, I do quite like this little rainbow that's just appeared on the horizon, and it's really nice. So I've got it up in vertical, I've done a couple of horizontal shots, but there's no time, when things like rainbows come along, there is no time to talk to you and set you up and tell you what I'm doing. I'm still on f11, I'm on aperture priority ISO 160, and I'm just flipping the camera around from left to right, or should I say from vertical to horizontal, just trying to get some of the grasses in the foreground, get a bit of mood in the sky, and a little bit of colour in the rainbows. I'm focused on the grasses in the foreground, and I'm just keep moving my camera around a little bit on just trying to get some different textures in the grasses and just see if I can get something that works a little bit better and sort of eliminate some of the scruffy background maybe, and just keep moving it around and taking the shot, because things like this don't happen every day, as you know. Rainbows are few and far between. There's almost a double rainbow, and I got one in my last video, so you've got to check out my last video there. I'll give you the secret from the beginning of the video now, haven't I? It was a fantastic moment, and I quite like that as well. If I can focus on the distance, can I get a focus lock on the distance? Just a plain, simple shot of a little tiny bit of colours. It's just fading away now. It's just about to disappear. That is fantastic. I wasn't expecting a rainbow. The sun looks pretty awesome as well, but there's nothing in that direction to shoot, really. I can try and get down lower, but it didn't happen on the lighthouse. It definitely didn't happen on the lighthouse, I know that. Let's just take one like that. I quite like that, the grasses poking through the sun. Focus on the grasses in the foreground. No, let's leave the focus as it is. Let's try that. A bit of rain on the lens. That's quite nice. Let's focus on the foreground as well, see if that makes any difference. I am getting rain on the lens now because it's spitting sideways. Bit of grasses and a little bit of sunlight. Doesn't hurt, does it? Ooh, I'm still here. But yeah, what a fantastic morning. And Denise has just phoned me, Mrs. C, and said that Wales is just going back into lockdown and she's not sure when it is. So I've got a feeling I'm definitely going back to the van and heading off home. So I think I might have to call it here. I'm going to watch this sun come up, because the colours over here are fantastic. It's like a hazy glow, and it really is nice. That was beautiful. I made up with that little bit of rainbow, just a little bit of colour. I tried to shoot a panoramic, excuse me, caught my breath then. Tried to shoot a panoramic as well with the light and the lighthouse, but it's quite far apart. I don't quite think it works. I don't know about from here. I don't know whether I can get a panoramic from this sort of angle. If I can get my tripod level, that is. Can't quite get it level there, so let's dig it down a little bit more. That's better. Get the ball level in me leveling head. Get the camera set up on horizontal. Sorry, vertical. That leg's moving. Dig it in a bit more. There's a problem with sand, it moves all the time, doesn't it? Dig it in. The sun's just catching me face now. So switch it back on. Let's go as wide as we can to try and take it all in. Get it level. And I'll just pan it round from where it is. I need a little bit more light on the situation, and I'm just going to go from there. And this is one of them ones where you just literally snap it and see what happens. I'm going to focus just on the grasses in front of me. I'm going to hit this, I'm going to do this shot, panoramic with a little bit of light in the sky. So it goes from like blues and greys over to pinks and oranges and yellows. And then that'll be it. The light's just catching the grasses in front of me, so if I can get around there without any rain spots on the lens, it'll be brilliant, but I don't think I'm going to make it, because the rain is definitely coming sideways and hitting me in the side of the head. But we'll see. A little bit of colour, that's all we want. And then I'm going home. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking to another one of my videos. I do appreciate any shares, likes, and I love your comments. So please, 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 please comment. I love reading your comments. And, oh, she's good. The rain's definitely getting on the lens now. Let's try another one. Hit the shutter. It's really difficult. Yeah, I do love reading your comments, so please. And yeah, maybe till next time, when I'm hopefully not so wet, I'll speak to you again. Ciao for now. See you soon. Rainbows, I've got a rainbow.